Action continues for one of the most highly anticipated debuts in the history of Pinnacle Fighting Championships. That's Gregg Rudolph making his debut, taking on Brandon Eckhardt, 1-1 in the welterweight division. Eckhardt more experienced, Rudolph an absolute powerhouse. It's going to be an interesting clash of styles. We'll see if Rudolph can show off some of that power.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect word for Gregg Rudolph is powerhouse. The fact that he can make 170 pounds was shocking to me.
It's time to bring out our first fighter. We send it up to Jazz Securo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. Are you guys having a good time? Make some noise in the house tonight. Our next fight takes place in the Pinnacle Fighting Championships Amateur Welterweight Division. Let's bring out your fighters. Please welcome Brandon Eckhardt.
Brandon Eckhardt, 27 years old, 1-1, coming in on a one-fight win streak after a TKO in round 2 in October, representing top-tier MMA.
And another guy said he has been training in Taekwondo since he was a kid, so I think that's maybe a little bit of a theme tonight. And another theme, another former Marine stepping into the cage here. That's how he actually said he got into the sport of mixed martial arts, doing some grappling and training when he was in basic training for the, as a Marine. So another guy who has represented our country and is going to represent top-tier MMA inside the cage here against a very tough opponent in Gregg Rudolph.
Not often you say very tough opponent about an 0-0 fighter, but that's Gregg Rudolph. Brandon Eckhardt, 1-1, and he understands and is relying on that experience, if nothing else, for him not to experience the adrenaline dump that fighters so often have in their debut. He recognized that his first time out. He's going to have less jitters. Both fighters conceded that that's a minor storyline before we get into the fight here.
Yeah, and Eckhardt, much credit to him coming out knowing that he's going to be kind of the underdog in his own hometown of Pittsburgh here, facing a guy who I'm sure we're going to hear a massive ovation for when he gets announced here in a couple of seconds. But we'll talk about Gregg Rudolph when he comes out. Of course, the co-owner of the Unseen Armada Fight Co., which is a huge sponsor of Pinnacle Fighting Championships and really well known nationwide as one of the best clothing companies in all of MMA.
Let's not wait any longer. Let's send it to Jazz and bring out Mr. Rudolph.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring his opponent to the cage. Please welcome Gregg Rudolph.
Gregg Rudolph, Penn Hills MMA, as well as doing some training at Fight Club Pittsburgh. You mentioned it, Dave. Owner of the Unseen Armada, was scheduled to make his debut in mixed martial arts 4 months ago. Tore his bicep, had surgery on that bicep, and is coming out here now to make his debut. We take a look at the tail of the tape with that, as that imposing and impressive figure makes his way to the cage. Dave, what stands out?
Yeah, the two things here that are going to stand out. Number one is the experience of Brandon Eckhardt, already into 2 fights into his amateur MMA career, so that gives him a little bit of an edge there. And then Rudolph, 5 years the elder, 32 years old, making his amateur mixed martial arts debut. Both guys kind of short for the weight class, but both guys weighing in 168 pounds. And this is going to be really a highly anticipated fight. You hear the stories of Gregg Rudolph knocking out heavyweights in boxing gyms, having never boxed or fought in mixed martial arts in his life, going down with Mark Jericho prior to when he thought he was going to fight in March to American Top Team. And there aren't too many amateur fighters who have the means to train with a gym like American Top Team, but Gregg Rudolph did it, and I heard that he held his own against some of those experienced, well-rounded, nationally known guys.
Gregg Rudolph's in the cage. We send it up to Jazz for the official introductions.
Here we go, Pittsburgh fight fans. This fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Pinnacle Fighting Championships Amateur Welterweight Division. And now, introducing, fighting out of the Triangle Bar and Grill, blue arc of the cage. His record, 1 victory, 1 defeat, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 168 pounds, representing top tier and fighting out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Introducing Brandon Eckhardt. And now his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the Knickerbocker red arc of the cage, standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 168 pounds, fighting for Penn Hills MMA and Fight Club Pittsburgh, fighting out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tonight, he makes his amateur debut, presenting Gregg, the Lumberjack Rudolph. When the action begins, your referee is Chip Snyder.
Brandon Eckhardt, black fight trunks with the red trim. Gregg, the Lumberjack Rudolph, black spandex. Chip Snyder, third man in the cage. I'm Ryan Kavanaugh, along with Dave McKinney. Gregg Rudolph says no to the glove touch, takes center cage. Big overhand right from Rudolph, and Eckhardt pushes in. And an overhand right from Rudolph, attacking like a monster.
Rudolph looking at throw. Oh, and he has the guillotine locked up here. This he might be
picking
him up off of his feet. You talk about power.
Eckhardt
Rudolph
looks dazed.
Explosive here.
Rudolph goes to the body twice. Wow.
I think one of the things Rudolph needs to do here is settle down.
Big right from Rudolph, finds the chin, and another. Eckhardt digs for the takedown again, and
nice
Rudolph.
Right hand lands there, the short one. And you see Eckhardt knows he's in a fight here. Has a cut over under his left eye.
Big right from Rudolph. Oh, and it's Eckhardt who lands. Rudolph showing the beard.
Rudolph looking for nothing but power shots here.
Eckhardt has found the chin of Rudolph. Rudolph's just walked through it. Big right hand. Knockout Gregg Rudolph.
And he's out.
Chip Snyder sets in. It's a walk-off knockout for Gregg the Lumberjack Rudolph.
And that was impressive. I think referee Chip Snyder just saved Brandon Eckhardt from taking a couple more shots. A good call by Chip Snyder there as that fight was over.
Dave McKinney, I'm on my feet. That's how you make a debut in mixed martial arts. The right hand of Gregg Rudolph just dropped Brandon Eckhardt, first round KO. Rudolph taking it out on the pads. He's not had enough. Take a look at this, Dave.
And that was a Mark McGuire-esque power shot from Gregg Rudolph. The home run swing drops Brandon Eckhardt and knocks him out clean.
Rudolph stands there. Chip Snyder doesn't step in. And credit to Rudolph, who just grabbed him around the waist and did not land the gravedigger.
Exactly. I think he knew that Eckhardt kind of felt his power, and he proved his point there and taking home his first victory. What a knockout.
You know, I mentioned, let's take another look at this. This is, you said it, this is a Mark McGuire. This is a 100-mile-an-hour fastball that finds its home on the chin of Eckhardt.
And as he just steps back and knows, almost a walk-off shot. Awesome knockout there.
Prior to this fight, I told Gregg Rudolph, I said, you know, the clips and the highlights from this fight go to Inside MMA. You want to get national, give us a knockout. I can't say that helped him at all. That may not have inspired him, but the result was the same.
Yeah, that was impressive, but give credit to Eckhardt. Took a lot of power before going down eventually, but I kind of figured that it would be sooner rather than later for Brandon Eckhardt. Nice knockout there from Gregg Rudolph.
The fighters are in the ring. Jazz Securo to make it official. Jazz, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Chip Snyder has seen enough and waved this one off at 1 minute and 8 seconds of round number 1. Officially, this is a technical knockout due to strikes. Your winner, the Lumberjack Gregg Rudolph.
Who came here to see something like that tonight? Who came here to see Gregg Rudolph tonight? I talked to Gregg a little bit yesterday, man, and I could tell before this first fight when he was at weigh-ins, he kind of looks like he does now, man. He just looked like he wanted to kill somebody. But it looks like he relaxed a little bit. He came in here, and he did exactly what he was going to tell me he was going to do. I came out like a bull in a china shop. Gregg, you've been waiting for this. You've been involved in MMA in the area for a while now. Here you go.
Yes, sir. I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting me. All my friends who bought a ticket and a t-shirt. You guys are awesome. And I've been waiting here a long time to get in here. This crazy, bald, tattooed man right here got me into it. Broke my nose 2 weeks ago. He's why I'm so tough.
What did it feel like when you hit him with that right and you saw him go down?
Honestly, I don't even remember it. No, it felt good.
Any other departing words for us tonight?
I want to thank my coach, Jeremy Bennett, my boxing coach, Matt Layshawk. He's the reason my hands are the way they are right now. I want to thank my brother, all my training partners at Fight Club, Penn Hills MMA, my sponsors who gave me some money for the charity and everything. I love you guys. Thanks for coming out.
He's representing Penn Hills MMA and Fight Club Pittsburgh, Mr. Gregg, the Lumberjack Rudolph.
We take a look at it one more time before Jazz Securo makes his announcements. Wow, what a knockout.